This is Troy J. Robertson back with Real Housewives of Beverly Hills recap with FabFitFun. Thank you so much for showing up again. Thank you so much for showing up every single week. As always, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe to FabFitFun's YouTube channel to see much more content with me every single week. Episode 8 was wild, to say the least. We've got Kyle, Lisa Vanderpump in the kitchen with Jiggy in the candlestick. It's pivotal for so many reasons. It's pivotal for Kyle and Lisa Vanderpump because this is a very big schism in their friendship. They've known each other a decade plus, and rumor has it that they have not spoken since the filming of that episode, which was last fall sometime. It's major for their friendship. It's major for the franchise because, as we know and we've seen in the tabloids, Lisa has been very difficult with filming with the rest of the ladies for the rest of the season. And then it's difficult for the relationship with all of the ladies that she has. So yes, all of them are having an issue with this story, but this really only involves Dorit, Lisa Vanderpump, and Teddy, and now everyone else is inserted because it is such a major topic and it's such a deep-rooted situation that they can't not be inserted into it. So it's just such a pivotal scene in that kitchen with Lisa and Kyle. Like, it really is dramatic. Before we get to that scene, though, there are a couple of things that do lead up to that. Some very important moments that happen in this week's episode. The first one is Teddy hosting a cycle ride at Cycle House for Vanderpump's dogs. So it's to raise some proceeds and awareness for Vanderpump's dogs, Lisa's shelter. The second important topic that happens before the blow up at the house is the ladies having lunch after the cycle ride. So here's my whole thing with Teddy partnering up with Vanderpump Dogs. I think that she did the right thing. I think that prior to this becoming an issue, her supporting Lisa and her new shelter and center and the foundation for all of the dog stuff is incredible. I think it's a really good dynamic being brought to Lisa's charity side of things, like a more athletic side of things. And that's a lot of trends that are now moving towards charities, you know, like these marathons and these cycle rides. And I think that that's really great. And I think that Teddy being able to be that person for Lisa Vanderpump is awesome. I also think that even though there is a situation that Teddy was still wanting and willing to do this because it's not about Lisa Vanderpump, it's about dogs, is a really big person of her. That being said, there is a way that you are supposed to deal with some business transactions, and when you partner up for things, and as an adult and as a woman who owns various businesses, if Teddy's side of things are true, I do not like the way that the cycle ride was dealt with that day. Teddy is claiming that she wasn't reached out to by anyone on staff at Vanderpump Dogs until the day of. She didn't recognize the person that brought the puppy. So at the cycle ride, you know, they were supposed to have puppies there, and then Lisa Vanderpump was supposed to be there herself, just visiting, mingling, and all of that. And so there's this whole topic of conversation that Teddy's having with Dorit, like, I don't even know if she's gonna show up. And Dorit's like, if she's gonna show up, I'm gonna be cordial, it's for charity. And we get there and, you know, Teddy's like, I was told that they were gonna show up with the dogs at 10 and they didn't show up till 10:30, which, whatever, not a big deal. But then people walked in that I didn't even know. I thought it was gonna be both of the Johns because they were involved with the planning of this as well. And I didn't recognize this individual. She made a very valid point though, her saying, if the Johns came, they were going to potentially have to answer to something and lie, bold-faced lie to Teddy, and also bold-faced lie on camera. If this side of the story is true, then she makes a really valid point. Like, it's one thing for Lisa to have to lie, but to make other people have to lie on her behalf, that's a totally different layer of something. All of the ladies arrive for the cycle ride and they're all talking about like, well, is Lisa gonna be here? And they're all talking about the Radar Online article. And I just have to say, like, some of the ladies and Dorit are saying like, what's the point of the story? What is this story actually doing? And it's like, why kick a horse while it's down? Like, why add insult to injury? What is actually happening? Like, who is this benefiting? All is said and done, we realize that Lisa Vanderpump does not show up at Cycle House for the cycle ride, benefacting her dog center. Dorit's like, well, I'm a little shocked that she's not here. And listen, I'm over here in the background, sitting over here watching, and I'm just saying, you're shocked, guess what? None of us are. It's just typical, okay? I'm just gonna go out there and say it. It's just typical. She didn't show up. There's a really big, heavy read at the end of Cycle, and Teddy says at the end, regardless of circumstances, real friends show up. That is a read. Kyle lets all of the ladies know that Lisa Vanderpump called her the night before and invited her to something at Vanderpump's Dogs the next day. And it's about the bill that they're trying to get passed for the stopping of the dog meat trade in various countries in Asia and all of that. And it's a really, really great cause. And so she is having a event. Use the term event very loosely, okay? They sat around and had macaroons watching C-SPAN, and she asked Kyle to come. Kyle's like, no, I'm going to cycle ride to support your dog center like I planned on doing for months now. And so there's this big whole thing with Lisa Vanderpump now having an event the same day as the cycle ride for her dog center and trying to get Kyle to come to that. There was a big gap between everyone's message and the time. You know, Lisa's saying to Kyle, come after the cycle ride. Kyle is saying to Lisa and to all of the ladies, you could have came to the cycle ride and then had gone to your event. So like it's just all a big mumbo jumbo. What do you all think? Do you think that Lisa Vanderpump should have gone to the cycle ride event that Teddi was hosting for her dog center? Or do you think that Lisa had every right not to try and make it to both and just stick to the one event that she was having at her center? The ladies then let Kyle have it. And so they're starting to talk about the Radar Online article and Lisa Vanderpump and her potential being behind this. Rinna talks about a situation where her and Vanderpump in the past have talked about Vanderpump kind of consulting her and saying like, hey, if you ever are having an issue and you need something to get out there or you want to leak something, this is how you do it. And here's the contact on how you do it. Rinna is saying there's probable cause for this because she's told me she's done this stuff in the past. And let's be real, we all remember that reunion when Adrienne Maloof accused her of selling stories to Radar Online. Like, this isn't new. Lisa's been accused of this before. Like, this isn't new tea. It's just 2019 tea now. Denise then asks Kyle, have you ever known Lisa Vanderpump to leak a story? As a good friend, Kyle then goes, well, we all know and have heard that, and she gets cut off by everyone, mostly Dorit, and Dorit goes, Kyle, answer the question. Do you know Lisa to usually leak stories? Is this in her character? Have you known her to do this before? And Kyle says, listen, y'all, I don't have proof that she's done it. She's been accused of it before, and we have found her in certain situations where there are a lot of reasons why she would do it and how she could potentially be behind it. Kyle's a good friend, and that's all that I'm gonna say. And I'm not gonna sit here and say that Lisa Vanderpump is a bad friend or a bad person. That's not what I'm saying in this by any means, because I do not think that Lisa Vanderpump is a bad person. However, I do think that Kyle Richards is a very good friend and a very good friend to Lisa Vanderpump, and I'm just leaving it at that. Just a little side quip, something at the end of the scene in Vanderpump's Dogs when Sessa and Vanderpump were talking. And he said, you know, I wish that they would have came to their event where they had a table full of desserts and they watched C-SPAN. These scenes are so difficult because it's one of those things where it's like Teddi had planned an event for Lisa Vanderpump's Dog Center months prior. She invited Kyle the night prior to this. Lisa holds an impromptu gathering to watch the news, and it's one of those, like, it's a not good enough situation. Like, Teddi did all of this despite the situation that's going on, but it wasn't good enough because she didn't come and show up to this. Well, these are things that we don't know. Was Teddi invited? Could Teddi come? Was the lunch that all of the ladies went to like something that was previously planned as well, and then Lisa didn't go to the cycle ride thing and then didn't go to the lunch with the ladies? These are things that we don't know. Again, a not good enough situation. Well, I wish that they could have came, and then it paints Lisa to be a good person because then she's like, well, you know, at least, you know, they raised this money and at least we've got this. And it seems like a really insincere scene to me. Prior to Kyle getting to Lisa Vanderpump's house, we learn in the episode that after the Radar Online article came out, Lisa Vanderpump then goes to TMC defending Dorit. So now the accusation is, on one hand, we have Radar Online, where Lisa Vanderpump is quoted and said that, you know, all of these terrible things about Dorit and the dog. And so this is a super negative story. And then on the other hand, the other tabloid that we have is TMZ. And in this, it's refuting all of the things that are over here. And Lisa Vanderpump has been quoted and is defending Dorit in this situation. When Kyle gets to the house, she's absolutely dreading this conversation. And this was a really emotional fight. Like, I'm gonna be real with you. This is the worst LVP and Kyle Richards fight I've ever seen in 9 years. At the end of the day, Kyle is speculating that there is some truth behind Lisa being behind this. And I think that Kyle is also correct in thinking that she's not 100% behind it. Because I have to say, at this moment in my life, I am not sure, and I think I talked about this on a couple YouTube videos ago, I'm not sure of her entirety involved in all of this. Like, I'm not sure she's 100% pulling the strings on all of this. I just don't think it is. Kyle does a really good job of kind of covering herself, though, by saying it in the way that a good friend would say it. Listen, this is what everyone's talking about. This is what everyone thinks. And I'm telling you, as your friend, it does sound like it's coming from your camp. So I'm telling you how I think you need to get in front of it. I'm telling you how I think that you can maybe just help me help you in this situation. And LVP is not having it. Ken immediately gets involved, and we all know from seasons past that as soon as the husbands get involved, it is never good. This gave me Peter and Nene, Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 7 PTSD. Okay, like, this was insane. He was like, you're not her friend. How can you call yourself her friend? How could you go along with this? Why would you let all these people say these things? Like, it was just insane. He was heated. He was fired up. I did like Lisa in this situation because she did say, listen, Ken, step aside. Let me deal with this. Okay, I thought that was very appropriate. And it's not a gender thing for me. I want to be very clear with that. It's just it's not for you. It's for me. I also don't like a gang up. I really don't. Not that 2-on-1 is a gang up necessarily, but you just can't do 2-on-1, especially during filming. LVP says to Kyle point blank, so you think that I put this article out there? Kyle puts it to her point blank. Yes, I do. Because you directly benefit from it. All of these things are pointing to you. It's sounding like it's from your camp. The only person that could potentially benefit is you. Who else would benefit from this story? One of the ladies in the episodes earlier says, like, only 10 people knew about this. If that is true, Kyle has a good point. A moment in this that I really, really appreciated was when Kyle said multiple times, if I did something wrong, you would still love me. And in that moment, that is Kyle saying, listen, if you did do this, I love you. And if you didn't do this, I love you. And if you did do this and want to continue to not be truthful about it, I'm still going to love you. My heart literally broke when the second time Kyle said that to Lisa, Lisa said, I don't care if you love me. This is about my character. That to me was such a red flag. Like, if I had a friend say that, like, I could get emotional right now thinking about any friend saying that to me. That is really, really messed up to say to a friend. It's very telling, and there's a lot of different schools of thought, and there's a lot of speculation out there that I have been hearing from the World Wide Web, the blogosphere, if you will, podcasts and all that. And there's a lot of people saying that it's a friendship of convenience on Lisa Vanderpump's side. I don't know that for sure, because guess what? I don't live there. I don't know them. I just watch them. And so for me, that's all that I can know. I don't know anything like that. But there are a lot of people who are out there speculating that it is a convenience friendship for her. Lisa Vanderpump's brand is very, very large. Her mogul and her franchise is huge. And so her reputation does have to play a very, very big role in how she deals with things. It's just really difficult to say, but for a friend to say that to someone, it should always be a safe place with a friend. And then for the episode to end the way that it did with, you know, Ken blowing up on Kyle and them kicking her out of their house. Like, this was just really bad, and it is going to be very difficult to come back from. This is going to take a lot of time and a lot of work. And I don't know if this is going to be fixed by the end of the season. I don't think it's going to be, because I don't think we're going to see LVP film with the ladies for a long time. I think that that is the moment that it happened. And I also don't think that this will be fixed at the reunion. It's going to take some time. So this has been the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills recap, episode 8 with Troy J. Robertson. Thank you so much for showing up every single week. And I will see all of you next week for episode 9. Let's see how it goes. Have a great week. Have a great weekend. Stay tuned. Over and out. Bye.